Hello, my name is Miss Penny. Today I would like to discuss how phonological and phonemic awareness are essential to developing literacy in pre-K students. As we work with children, it is important that we help them develop a strong language and literacy foundation. I would like to start by defining the words phonological and phonemic awareness. But first, letting you know that these words do not involve print, just spoken words. The definition of phonological awareness is the ability to hear and manipulate parts of spoken or oral language. Phonological awareness is broad and broken down to several parts such as sentences, words, rhymes, syllables, and phonemic awareness. Children who have developed phonological awareness can understand that the sentences they hear, like "the cat is fat," is made up of 4 separate words. The cat is fat. They understand words cat and fat rhyme. They know the word cat is 1 syllable, cat. They understand and manipulate 3 sounds. Cat is k, t, which is called phonemic awareness. To sum it up, children who have phonological awareness can recognize and make oral rhymes and can clap out the number of syllables in a word and can recognize words with the same beginning and ending sounds, all based upon what you hear. This skill does not involve print. Now let's look at the definition of phonemic awareness. If you did not already notice, phonemic awareness is under the umbrella of phonological awareness. Phonemic awareness refers to the specific ability to focus on and manipulate individual sounds, which are phonemes, in spoken words. Phonemes combine to form syllables and words. Remember, phonemic sounds are all done at the auditory and spoken level. No print is involved. Basically, phonemic awareness skills include learning how to break apart and combine sounds into words. For example, you recognize words in a set begin with the same sound, such as cat and kite, all begin with the k sound. Isolate and say the first and last sound in a word. Cat begins with k sound and ends with the t sound. Blend separate sounds, phonemes, into words. K, a, t equals cat. For example, the word cat has 3 phonemes. K, a, t. Phonemic awareness is important because it is the foundation for spelling and word recognition skills. Phonemic awareness should begin in preschool with the focus on the similar phonemic awareness skills of isolation and identifying beginning and ending sounds. Phonemic awareness is one of the best indicators of how well children will learn to read during the first 2 years of school. Now, how does phonological and phonemic awareness relate to literacy development in young children? Phonological awareness is the ability to understand that spoken words are made up of individual sound parts, and it is critical for learning to read any alphabetic writing system. Phonological and phonemic awareness relates to literacy development because one must first learn to recognize and manipulate sounds of speech. As an educator, we must teach first easiest to most difficult activities, starting with teaching words or within sentences. I see a cat. Syllables are within words. You say, I see a cat. The first and last sounds within words, cat, k, t. And finally, all the individual sounds in a word or phoneme. Cat. Studies have shown that if a child has difficulty with phonological and phonemic awareness, poor reading and spelling development is inevitable. Now I'm going to describe how early reading development is related to early literacy skills using print concepts, letter naming, vocabulary, phonological awareness, listening, speaking, and comprehension. It is critical to help your children to be ready for school by working with them to develop early literacy and learning skills. Introducing them to print concepts, letter naming, vocabulary, phonological awareness, listening, speaking, and comprehension is so important because strong reading skills form the basics for learning in all subjects. It is important to identify those who struggle with reading as early as possible. Children who have been read to at home come to school with important early literacy skills. They are prepared to learn to read and write. Children who have not had many experiences listening to books, read aloud, or talking about books typically start school with poor early literacy skills. The following skills are needed for literacy development. Print concepts. Understanding that those squiggly lines on a page represent spoken language and that print is organized in a particular way. Pages read from left to right and from top to bottom. Those sentences start with capital letters and end with periods. Letter naming helps a child learn letter sounds and develop their understanding of the alphabetic principle. Vocabulary, the words we must understand to communicate effectively. Talking and reading with your pre-K child, as well as carrying on conversation and questions about interesting words. Phonological awareness, the focus is on rhyming, alliterations where you have the same letters in adjoining words like Peter Piper, syllables, and beginning sounds. Listening, ability to give attention to words we hear. Speaking, oral language used to communicate. And comprehension, the ability to understand and explain what we hear. Early literacy skills include print concepts, letter naming, vocabulary, phonological awareness, listening, speaking, and comprehension. I will provide an example of each and how to use at home or in the classroom to teach literacy skills, as well as describe how to modify to meet the needs of students with exceptional needs. Print concept. The meaning of print. Get a book, point to words when reading with your child to show that print carries a message. I'm going to read I Like Socks by Liz Charlesworth. I like socks with lots of bells. I like socks with lots of shells. You can modify that by using a book with the same words, but reiterate the same words in your reading. Like, I like socks with lots of bells. Socks, socks, socks. I like socks with lots of shells. Socks, socks, socks. That's a way to use print concept. Letter naming. This book is full of letters. This is a fun kind of alphabet search. Choose any book you might have in your home or have in your defined letters. Your child may start by identifying letters randomly in the book. Later, your child can find the letters in alphabetical order. Look for lowercase and uppercase letters too. And how to modify that is choose the letter you want the student to find in your reading. For example, the letter B. So what you're going to do in your reading is, it is night. It is time to read a book. And then you ask the child, can you find the B, the B sound? And that child can point to the B. And they may say book. I like my book. Find the B sound. B, book, b. Okay? And that's how you can modify that in just any random book and letting them pick out letters. Next, under vocabulary, read aloud every day. Read aloud to your child. Having your child read books on their own is the best way to increase their vocabulary. You could read the book, start off by reading the book, then provide words that may not be in your everyday conversation. Such as in this book, Go Dog Go. You can have the children, you can read the book, start off by reading. The green dog is up. The yellow dog is down. The blue dog is in. The red dog is out. And then once you read this book, you can have them to do the book and have several books like we have here in your reading and let them do independent reading. You can modify this activity by taking the book and you as an educator, the teacher, sit with that student and read along with them to help them with their independent reading. That's a way to modify this. For phonological awareness, rhyme time. You can say is, I am thinking of an animal that rhymes with big. What animal? And then the kids can say, pig. Then you say, what else rhymes with big? Dig, fig, wig. You can also incorporate using rhyming cards you could have matching rhyming pictures for the student to touch verbally and say the answer. Instead of them just verbally saying it, you have to have a visual for them. If you're saying like hat, you may have this word and something, show them another picture and they'll find this and say cat. Okay, that's a rhyming activity that you could do to improve their literacy skills. Listening, you could play a listening game. Play I Spy with your child using words that describe an object's position, such as I spy something on the carpet or in the front of the couch. This requires talking, listening, following directions, and giving directions. To modify this activity, in I Spy, have the student to physically to go to that designated area. Let the student give you the answer. I spy something on the carpet. Have that child go to the carpet and then they can find something in that space. That's how you can modify that activity. And of course, let them give the answer. For speaking, we're going to use walk and talk. Take a walk through your neighborhood or around your classroom or around your school. Encourage your child to point out things they see as they're walking and talk about them. Ask open-ended questions such as who, what, why, where, when, and how. To modify this activity, as a teacher, point to things on your walk. You can point to the things on your walk and then ask that student a question and wait for their response. And finally, comprehension. The activity you could use with comprehension is to act it out. You could read The Three Little Bears. You could act out the story using different size stuffed animals. This is a great opportunity to talk about the concepts of small, medium, and large. Go on a scavenger hunt in your home to find out other objects with different sizes, shoes, socks, cups, and ask your child to classify the items by size. You might also ask your child if he knows another word for small or large. You could modify this activity by giving the student one role. Say, for example, you're going to tell that child, we're going to look for something that's small, and we're just going to discuss that role and focus on just small. That's a way to modify that activity. I hope this clarified phonological and phonemic awareness and how it relates to literacy. Enjoy those books.